So I'm Chitra Solingan. I'm a mother to a 16-year-old autistic boy, and I'm also the founder and director of Rising Start School, which is an integrated school at Bangalore.
Yeah, I'm Priya Shah. I'm also a parent of a son with autism of 25 years. And I'm also a special educator for autism and a special educator for learning disabilities as well. An RCA certified, I have my own center in Ashwantpur, working with children with special needs. And I'd also have experience working in the mainstream school resource rooms, setting up resource rooms, and also the sensitizing the schools about the issues where the main intent was to for them to recognize the early signs of the kids so that the children can be referred to an assessment so that the early help has to be uh, given to the kids.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much for the introductions. First question to you, Dr. Chitra. Dr. Chitra, you have been dealing with bullying, and also I myself has been a part of that. I've been in college and ragging and all. Neurotypical bullying is something which is very painful. How and what goes into the brain, or you can say the minds of a child who is on the spectrum, specifically, if we can address that.
Yeah, so for a child on the spectrum, it's first of all, it's very hard for them to express what they're going through, especially if it's bullying, to even identify the fact that they're getting bullied. So, and because a child on the spectrum has also a lot of challenges with communication and social skills. So, because of that, it makes it increasingly difficult. But I think for us as educators and even the parents and everybody should look for some kind of subtle signs where they can find out, there's some changes in their behaviors, or there's some changes even in their emotional kind of the way they're expressing their emotions. So that should be like red flags which should help us to identify if there's some kind of bullying happening at school. I think the first thing is we have to connect with the teachers. We'll have to talk to the peers also, because the peers also, some of them will be able to tell you what's happening with this particular child. So that way I think we have to intervene as quickly as possible and try to protect this child and try to help this child overcome this bullying by teaching them to say no to it. So teach them phrases like say no to bullying, or it hurts me, don't abuse me, or don't talk loudly to me. So these kind of things will help them to identify. And as I told you also, it is also through a lot of social stories, lot of role plays, and you'll have to bring a lot of awareness about what it feels to be an autistic person and what are the difficulties he or she goes through, especially with sensory issues and everything. If children and if the teachers and everybody around are educated on this, it will make the life of an autistic child better and easier for them to cope with.
Priya ma'am, you have actually worked with the resource room in the schools and sensitized a lot of schools. Bullying happens in an environment, okay, when it is very, very easy for anybody who has a very innocent face, but there is an intent which they have, and they said, "Oh, we have not done anything," which means there's a lot of sensitization for the teachers, the schools, and those who are those environments where the child is already there. So you have educated so many schools so far, and you also have a child, and I want to understand that what was pre-sensitization, post-sensitization, what were the realizations that the schools have done, and what is your message to the schools or institutions per se?
See, by default, everybody and things about bullying happens only in the school. It's by default, that is the normal thinking of everyone. But bullying happens everywhere, wherever the child is in whichever situation. Outside the school, there is a huge society wherever the child is there, like in a shopping or in a mall or going to a park or playing with friends on the street, wherever, whatever bullying happens, each and every place, even sometimes in the presence of parents.
Do parents bully?
No, even sometimes in the presence of parents, other kids, they bully the child, and it is a helpless situation sometimes when things goes little out of control. So, and and it's an expected pattern. The child having lot of sensory issues and the other repetitive behaviors, it is something expected pattern, and we need to be ready enough to tackle that as a parent also. When it comes to school, actually bullying becomes difficult where the parents are not there to tell others, what I know about my son, then the other people, they will not be knowing. So it becomes little difficult when the child is in control of somebody else, so at that time, the people who are there in that immediate environment, they will be knowing, like, a bit more about the child, and they will also be knowing what is happening with the child. In case if the child is in the resource room, things are little okay. If the child is in the inclusive setup, then it becomes little difficult unless and until, like, this child reacts. The teachers also will not be knowing.
So
Whether,
what was the change? So you have educated people, right? So
yes,
one
yes.
part is they should know, and you also have given some sort of a capacity building workshop around
True,
for the
true,
teachers.
true,
So
true. So through, I mean, it is like about sensitizing the teachers, sensitizing the school staffs and others, like, through strategies, through various strategies. But, like, I would say, like, the results are not always 100%, like, I mean, it is not always, like, a rosy picture. It still happens, but it is better.
it's better.
It is better. It is better. Actually, the people, they know, and the kids are also. I mean, it is not that bleak. The picture is not that bleak. Even the peer group is also, like, getting better at knowing the situations. Actually, like, I wanted to mention this Bethany school, like, in, I think, last month, in one or two other schools, the 10th kids children, they had an essay writing, impromptu essay writing about special needs children. So many of them are written about dyscalculia, dysgraphia, and autism, and learning disabilities. So that means some awareness is already there. It is not as bleak as, like, what it was before.
Yes,
So it is getting better. It will still get better, but not everything at a time.
But still, it's a label level that they still don't know beyond what's happening.
Beyond,
So it's
yeah. So
beyond
some ignorance is there always in all the situations. It happens even in a normal neurotypical any kind of environment. Also, that keeps happening.
Thank you so much for giving the time.
Pleasure.